right, should we reveal? Yeah. Okay, here's your special reveal. All right, you want me to bring it in?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Music Mondays. We have a very special guest for you, and it's Matt.
Hi.
This is hi. This is Matt Duncan. He was a member of the Ronald Rayguns. Still is.
They live on forever in our hearts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Ronald Rayguns in spirit. So
Tell us.
why don't you just tell us a little bit about your band, the history,
Okay. Cool.
yourself, anything
yeah.
else you want to say?
Well, let's see. The Ronald Rayguns are an obscure sort of footnote in the history of the alternative music scene of Central Arkansas, circa 2012 to 2015, I think, was the last time that we played together as a band.
Golden era of music.
Yeah,
you
golden
could say.
era of music, and Central and Northwest Arkansas, sort of
It's a
major cultural hubs in the United
Yes,
States.
indeed.
The band was comprised of 5 young people, 4 of whom were working then and are still working as theater professionals of some kind.
And then there's you, who just passed their.
Yeah. I just passed my oral examinations, fulfilling partially the requirements to receive a Master of Fine Arts in Acting from Purdue University. So that's
Yes.
why I'm here in this part of the world, as opposed to, Arkansas or some other place. But yeah, so 4 of us were theater people, and we weren't really doing much with our lives at the time, and so we decided that we would give playing music a try, and then Dick, our drummer, who should be a theater person, but isn't, sort of came in to really pull us all together musically. And I guess what I should say about the Ronald Rayguns is that as much as they were a band, we did play music, we were also more of a performance group of some kind. The idea was far less about making palatable music for the listening public than it was really experimenting in how far we could go in drunkenness and poor taste in public. That's it. We were poetic because we were drunken buffoons, to quote Lester Bangs in Almost Famous.
Good.
Very good.
I do have a question about your public persona. So the one, I think it was like the Hoot Owl song.
Mm-hmm.
It was just you guys. Was that live? Were you guys somewhere?
We were somewhere. So the album that you guys listened to, Pax Ray Gunna, which is a funny name that has a funny story behind it. That album was recorded in a studio in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is the home of the University of Arkansas. It's kind of a party town, not unlike Bloomington, but let's.
Was that a jab?
That was a jab. Yeah, IU sucks. But anyway, it was at a studio run by some friends of ours. The studio at the time was called Let's Talk Figures, and since the Rayguns were sort of a party band, or really, we liked to have a good time, and so Let's Talk Figures thought that the best environment for us to record our album would be at a massive party. And so they invited really who's who of disreputable members of society into the studio space, and so yeah, there was an audience, not really in. Also, Hoot Owls was not a song that existed as a part of our repertoire except for that moment of recording.
Yeah, I mean, it was just you guys being like, there's Hoot Owls in the corner, and that was the whole song, and then yelling. And then, was that the one where you kept yelling about mosquitoes? Or was that you? Because now I don't know who was you or not. Like, I thought I could tell, but I guess I can't.
You know, it's funny that you're asking me this because, one, I didn't listen to Hoot Owls before coming in to talk today. But also, you know, if you ask me about the recording of this album, we're going to run into a lot of instances where I really just have to frankly say, man, I don't know. Because I was blacked out for most of the recording of this album.
Good. Good. Well, yeah, there was one moment where, I mean, I thought it was you, but like I also thought you sang the other one. It was like
Mosquitoes in the Corner sounds like me.
You were like, in the month of July.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's in the month of July.
Yeah. It was just you yelling that, and then they're like, "Shut the fuck up!" And you're like, "In the month of July," as I said. so
yeah.
And that was the song. That was the whole song. Yeah.
So desperate to be heard. That was sort of my.
It's okay.
Hoot Owls it's listed as my favorite song on the album. So
yeah, good.
I'm glad we went there already.
Yeah. Well, tell us why you like it, Taylor. Let's talk about it.
So chaotic.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed it. And I know that we were gonna get there. I'm gonna say it now. I'm like kind of upset that it's all good.
It's just so good.
It's just like with the backstory of the album, and then just with it all as one thing, I'm like, this shouldn't be good.
Yeah.
But it is.
Your state of being should not have created something that is enjoyable.
Yeah.
You said you're like, you know, less than palatable music. This is good. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'd go like listen to Hoot Owls like just over and over again.
Yeah.
Like in my free time, but like the actual songs on there, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you know, I guess also the funny thing is like that's me saying less than palatable music. Adam Bennett, one of the other vocalists and our lead guitarist, was very adamant that we were going to make good music, and so there was an inherent conflict in the band almost from the very beginning. Adam, as it happened, Adam and Dick were probably the most sober of us throughout the entire process as well. But I think there was an inherent desire in all of us to create something that was good, and we had varying ideas of not only what good really meant, but also how to get there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's like not an unusual thing to hear from in a band. Like, I feel like everybody has like their own idea of what good is, how much fun are we gonna have with this, how seriously are we gonna take it.
Yeah.
I sound strange. Hold on.
Other way is gonna make you louder.
But yeah, I mean,
I feel like that's like every reason that a band breaks up is artistic differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a reason that you guys, or is it just you went your separate ways and couldn't continue this?
From what I can recall, and I've actually told all of the boys that we're doing this, and so they will watch it sometime, and they will write to me saying, "Matt, you liar." But from what I can recall, what was going on was that Adam, in particular, was ready to go all in on making the Ronald Rayguns like something that we dedicated a good chunk of our lives to. He really wanted to become a legitimate rock and roll band, I guess. And I know that I was at a point where I was convinced that I had to go out and try to be a serious actor on my own in Chicago. And several other people were moving to various other places in the world at that time. And really it's just kind of, this was a band that came out of our association together in undergrad and in college. And it's sort of the same as what happens to a lot of intimate friend groups at the end of the college experience, right? Is that everybody has sort of gone through the rite of passage, and then it's time to go out into the world. And so I moved to Chicago, Adam moved to LA, Brady and Dick moved to Fayetteville, and I think Jordy went a lot of different places. But yeah, it really was just a matter of time to go.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, I didn't know if there was like I figured that probably was what happened, but I do have another question. Changing subject. Tell me about Reverend Matthias Duncan.
Okay, yeah.
What is that?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the Reverend Matthias Duncan, because that is, technically I am not a member of the Ronald Rayguns, but the Reverend is.
Okay.
So the Reverend is a character who was developed out of a period of depression that was characterized by self-medication through the use of alcohol and illicit substances. And I was at a party, and I was, this was right before the formation of the Ronald Rayguns, I think. I was at a party, and I had sort of debauched myself into this trance-like state where I started telling this story to anybody who was walking in and out of the party and just happened to be passing by. Where I was saying something like, well, my mother went into labor with me in a restaurant they called the Purple Cow on a rainy Sunday. I had the cord wrapped around my neck, so they had to cut me out. That's what they call a cesarean section. And my mother died in childbirth. And so that story would go on, incorporating elements of Huckleberry Finn and also just trying to create streams of nonsense. Sometimes I ride on a motorcycle made of dreams on a highway paved with rainbows.
That's my new Twitter bio.
Yeah. But yeah, that story would go on, and then eventually I would hit a point where I could not go on. And somebody, I think it was a friend of mine named Eric at the time, would say, "And what happened then, Reverend?" And I would go back to the beginning of the story and repeat all of it and sort of add stuff onto the end. So this went on for several hours, and after I passed out and woke up the next day, people were just calling me Reverend.
Okay.
And so that ended up being a persona where, you know, I would dress in clerical garb at certain times, just with like a dog collar. I would offer to do baptisms in the bathrooms of the bars we were playing in.
Did you have any takers on the baptisms?
So the Ronald Rayguns mostly, we didn't get paid a lot unless it was in beer, and so I'm sure that maybe there were takers, but
God,
I can't guarantee it.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I like how it's just.
So the Ronald Rayguns.
Yeah.
How did the name come about?
I know that I think it was Jordy and Dick and Adam were having a conversation. So Adam and Brady and I, three of the members, lived in one house, and that was sort of the gathering place for the band. As we were sort of playing music together, trying to figure out whether or not we were going to take this sort of activity that we were doing in our living room into the world, some of the guys decided we should probably name it. And I think I had gone into my bedroom to take a disco nap. And
Can I pause you? Explain disco nap.
Yeah, you're about to go out to a party, but you've already been partying for a while, and so you just go to check out for about 15 minutes to sort of re-up on your energy.
Okay, those are all of my naps, but...
Yeah, and so that's the disco nap. But I had gone to take a disco nap, and I remember I had heard a lot of names, mostly based on puns. Sort of more traditional things like Tequila Mockingbird and all that stuff. But eventually they landed on the Ronald Rayguns, and I think we are like one of 4 bands with that name.
Okay.
But yeah, I was personally partial to the Gerald Fjords. I thought that had a nice Norwegian quality to it.
I'm taking it. It's mine now.
You and Chris's band?
Oh, yeah. You remember, you know Chris Spencer, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were going to start a band.
Oh, damn.
I mean, probably not now. We have 3 weeks left of school. But
Wow, fair.
we talked about it a lot. Yeah. Which I can just imagine what kind of shit show that would be.
A lot of drum solos from Chris.
A lot of drum solos from Chris. A lot of me walking around going, because that's all I do, pretty much.
You know,
so.
you guys can still form a band even though you only have 3 weeks left of college. The Ronald Rayguns were formed during a period where I was graduated from college but refusing to believe it.
Okay.
So, you can take that path.
Yeah. That's kind of me. I'm like about to graduate, I don't have a job, trying to pretend that
it's okay.
I'm okay and that I have more than $4 to put down a security deposit on an apartment.
People keep asking me, how's it feel? And I said,
bad. Actually.
I just go, I don't know.
Yeah. They're like, are you excited? And I'm like, to be in debt? Yeah. That's awesome. I can't wait.
You know, it's really cool because that does not change.
Yeah. Oh, sick. Yeah.
Super thrilled.
I just always pictured myself, like, because when you're not this age, you're like, by the time I'm that age, I'm going to have lived a full life. And then, you get to it, and you're like, I don't know where I am most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's a sidebar we don't have to go down. This is about the Rayguns, not about my own personal problems.
I mean, we can talk about your personal problems.
We usually do.
We usually
That's pretty
do.
much. The podcast is like half the album and then half us just spilling our guts to everyone that the whole 4 people that watch and listen.
Like, well, I don't know if you watch it or have seen it. There was one day, so my therapist was like, you're running out of sessions. Try going to an anxiety class. And I said, okay. And I told this story. So I'll tell you now because it's funny. I went to the first one and they handed me a book. And he's like, let's practice breathing together. Bitch, if if it was that easy, I would just breathe all the time. And then they told me to self-soothe and take baths. And I was like, okay.
You're like, no one's cleaned my tub in the entire 3 years I've lived in this apartment.
There's
so I'm
a
not going to
brown
debate.
stain at the bottom of my shower that was there when I moved in. I refuse to put more than the bottom of my feet on it. Like, I've tried to get it out. My roommates tried to get it out. Also, another fun story, sidebar, about staining my shower. 2 years ago, I tried to dye my hair blue. And instead, it dyed my hair just black. And I was blue from head to toe. And so was my shower. And so I'm standing with a towel on the front of me, crying hysterically. My roommate, because it's like a weeknight, like I have to get up and go places. My roommate is scrubbing me down, like my back down, while I'm just like, and my other roommate's scrubbing the shower with like vinegar, because it said that Google said it was supposed to get it off. So there's also that, and then the brown stain that was already there. That doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I've done that. And then I like this area was like just blue for a few days. And every time I showered, I had to like shower like this because it would just get more blue. Don't ever dye your own hair. Don't do it. It's bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah. Well,
there's my story.
You know, that's funny. I'm going to try and tie it back to the Ronald Rayguns.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Look at this.
Absolutely.
Because that, in many ways, when I look back on what we were doing with that band, that's kind of what I feel like the point was. It was a way to vent all of those days, or all of those moments of everyday shame,
Yeah.
into into this really sort of chaotic and raucous event, which would be the performance. They're
Nice.
Solid.
I'm proud of you.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Better than us. We
Really
just
beautiful.
go. And anyways, back to the album.
Yeah. And then sometimes we're like, okay, back to the album. And I'm like, Taylor. And she's like, Leah. And then we're like, and that's what we have to say. Well, let me talk about my favorite song.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot that I liked about this album. And, I mean, you know this already. I've told you both. So I'm going to tell the world of our huge fan base, our moms.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So I was listening to this in public, which was a mistake. And I was sitting in Starbucks, and you know how the union one has like the bench where there's like facing the workers? Well, I'm facing a worker like directly, hiding my mouth because I'm laughing and I have tears forming in my eyes because the song Dead Now, written by the one and only Matt Duncan, it opens up and he's like, this song is about misery and about crying. And then he goes through this whole long list of what the song is about, and then he goes, most importantly, it's about yodeling. And I just lost my damn mind. And it was really, I felt renewed.
Well,
Renewed.
I'm glad that the song "You Are Dead Now"
Renewed me, brought me back to life,
and inspired renewal, because from what I can recall, "You're Dead Now" is the first song that I ever wrote that was played in public, like in front of an audience as opposed to in front of a group of friends, I guess. And it was it's a breakup song in the grand tradition of sort of toxically worded country music breakup songs. And so, yeah, that's about it. And I loved and still love to yodel, so it had to be in there somehow.
Can you give us a sample?
Are you properly warmed up for this?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to do my breathing exercises. Yeah. man.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, audio-only listeners. I
Yeah.
hope you had your headphones all the way up for that.
That's on
Holy
YouTube, girl.
That was
That's
great.
on YouTube forever.
Forever.
Just know. And it's also going to be on multiple other platforms.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Spotify.
Spotify.
If-
If,
Vimeo.
oh man, if we were further along, I was like, and it's also on Spotify. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. In all seriousness, though, my favorite actual song was how do you pronounce it? Mephisto.
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 Yeah. That's like the kind of music that I like to listen to in my life.
Yeah, that Mephisto is the song where when I listened to that album, Mephisto and Merchant Marine are the ones where I really just kind of think to myself and say, yeah, those were like really tight rock and roll songs, and that's all they were. And that was a song that Adam spearheaded, and we all sort of collaborated on, and that. Because there is that sort of thing that happens in bands where a song will get written while one or two people are out of the room and someone else, and they're kind of injected into it later. The thing that was sort of magical about Mephisto is that it was one of the ones that was written while we were all in a room together, and it was hammered out within the course of, I think, 3 hours.
Nice.
Adam said something about wanting to write a song about alchemy, and then somebody said, let's make it about Dr. Faustus, and that was it. Elizabethan drama brought into rock and roll.
Perfect.
What a blend. What a beautiful blend that is. That be. Yeah. Yeah. So Taylor, I just lost a whole train of thought. I had one cooking and it's gone.
Something I really enjoyed about the album was that it all sounds far away and old. And that's something that I really like in music. Like we talked about it with Shaky Graves, how that one song with
The one girl.
SMA Patterson. They sound like there was one mic in the middle of the room and they were like standing against the wall singing. And it just adds like a really warm quality to the music. And I felt that with your guys' stuff too.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, it was recorded with like a little audience in the room. I feel like that style of recording music makes you feel like you can be in that little audience that was in the room, and you're like,
you feel a part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And even though it's goofy fun, it still had that warm, good goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that, Willie Krasinski and Bob Geiser, two music artists out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. I think they're still in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Were the guys who, one, were very insistent that the Ronald Rayguns needed to be recorded in some way, and I think it was them and Dick, our drummer, who was also heavily involved with Let's Talk Figures, who sort of devised the idea of how all of that was going to happen. And then, and then Adam and Brady and Jordy showed up ready to go, and I stumbled into the room drunk.
It's a perfect way
Good.
to start it off.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You gotta just, if you're gonna start strong, you gotta start strong.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah.
Cool. Can I ask you guys something
Yeah.
about that? So there's a segment on here called "That's that shit I don't like," and I would like to know if there was any of that on there, because when I listen to it, there's so much of that shit that I don't like.
I didn't dislike anything. Like, obviously, all of the random, like, skip-bop-bop, biddy-boop-bop, Like,
I live for that shit though.
yeah, it's like, what the fuck is that? But it's also like, good. Good. And I think it helped that, like, I know you personally.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I can't dislike this because, also, I think I said it last week, for the listeners, this is my teacher. Okay? He teaches me things. And by teaches me things, he teaches me how to cry and how to yell loudly. But yeah, I don't think I could dislike it, even if I didn't know you.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, this is just gold. Like,
I do have to backtrack and say, I teach Leah how to cry and yell on purpose. I don't make Leah cry and yell in class.
No, it doesn't make me actually cry in class.
Maybe sometimes.
I mean, I just go home and do it. No, I'm kidding. No, also, this is a sidebar. Last night, you're like, I passed my exams. And I was like, and then you came to me during the check-in, and I was like, I didn't pass any exams. And I was like, that sounded like I failed a bunch of exams today. I didn't take any exams. And that's irrelevant.
Perks of being a film major, we don't take exams.
Do we do anything?
No.
Really? Let's be honest.
Really, we don't. I do makeup on Tuesdays, that's all.
I go around and I try to pretend like I know what's happening. Yeah, that's what being a film major is.
Try to pretend like I know what's happening.
I like pick up a camera and I turn it on and I'm like, click, click, picture. Although I did have in my class yesterday, it was an English class and we were doing visual rhetoric, okay? And we were talking about the rhetoric of photography. And in that situation, not to toot my own horn, but I was the only one who knew anything about photography in any sense of the word. And people were like, I think that this is powerful because this line is this. And I was just like, no, dude. Like, the rule of thirds is just a rule that you have to follow. It's not something that you, like, think about in your head.
Well, it's like every film major, they're like, you see those oranges in The Godfather?
Christ. Godfather can go away. Do you like The Godfather?
It's been a long time since I watched The Godfather.
My thing, it's too damn long. There is absolutely no reason we don't need 9 hours of that.
There's literally like almost 10 hours of Godfather films.
Unnecessary. We could have scrunched that down to a normal length movie.
Well, Chris and I finally recorded. So Chris Spencer and I do a podcast for Ben Lawton. Do you happen to know who Ben is? He's a professor in film. He teaches mafia in the movies and Italian cinema.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So we're doing a podcast for his mafia class about music and film. And we covered all 3 of the Godfather movies in one just short of an hour-long podcast. And oh boy, was it something.
Wow.
Chris played Dunkachino.
Oh my god, have you seen that?
No.
It's Al Pacino doing a Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Well, it's also not a real commercial. It's from that Adam Sandler movie, Jack and Jill. Literally the worst movie of all time. It's the most nominated film ever for the Razzies. It won 15 Razzies.
Wow.
It's the worst movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like worse than Birth of a Nation.
Oh, Jesus.
Like just so bad. The whole thing is about trying to get Al Pacino to be in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial because they're coming out with a drink called the Dunkachino.
Yeah. It's good. So yeah. Should we wrap it up? Because now we're talking about Al Pacino and Dunkin' Donuts.
Probably.
This is usually what happens. We get to this point where we're like, what are we saying?
Yeah, how long's it been? Is it tomorrow yet? Like,
you know, who knows what's happening.
So, yeah, you guys.
Rayguns, good stuff. I think they should have a reunion.
Oh, it's planned.
Good.
Raygun Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm into that.
Okay.
You gotta let me know.
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
We're gonna do a 10-year reunion, I think, with a national tour.
A national tour.
A national tour was talked about at one point, which would be very funny since we weren't very well known in the first place.
Where would you go?
Just karaoke bars.
Places.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time playing in dive bars, so I have a feeling that that's where we'd try to end up for the fourth go round.
Good. Good.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
If you need an opener, as I told you earlier, I'm really good at Pat Benatar.
Yes. Yeah.
Only the one, really. Tried to sing other songs, hasn't gone well. She's a powerhouse. I'm not so much. But yeah, let me know. I'll come do my one Pat Benatar cover, just alone, a cappella. I don't know how to play anything. So.
I can MC.
Yeah.
Girl, yes. Yeah, that'd be good.
That's how I bring you in.
No words. You're just like. Okay. All right. So Taylor.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about what we're doing next week? Sorry, you have to sit and listen next week too.
Next week, my dear friend Josie is coming. We're going to talk about Billie Eilish's new album, When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And I'm so fucking pumped. Like, for the album, for us to discuss it, and for Josie to be here.
Yeah.
And she's our first female guest, which is fun.
That is true. Yeah, you get 2 guests in a row. So, that's cool. Yeah, in the meantime, if you want to binge a bunch of episodes about nothing, you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, which you're here already, I guess.
Probably.
All of the other places
Spotify.
that things are.
Anchor. If you listen on Anchor, FYI, Anchor has been deleting our episodes.
Yes.
They're everywhere else, but some of them are disappearing off of Anchor.
Yes.
But like, if there's one on Anchor and you're like, what the fuck? You can go to anywhere else that there's a
Somewhere.
podcast.
Yeah.
And we're there. We're almost at 3,000 plays. Audio
Nice.
only. And I think
Nice.
that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for giving a shit.
There won't be anything on the Friday Faves playlist this week.
Because you
Because
don't have a
this is-
Spotify?
Yeah. No.
I don't think
we
so
don't.
anyway.
We don't.
Okay.
So, sorry, I guess.
But yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah,
Thanks.
For joining
Here.
us.
Thanks to you guys.
Yeah. It was good. And it was also great.
We will see you guys next week. Have a musical Monday.
Cut.